Good friggin' morning from New England, folks, and welcome back to episode 37 of the So New England podcast. I am your host, Ian Brownhill, joined by my co-host, Robert Travisano, all things Life's Better in New England and So New England podcast producer, Vince Guineri behind the camera, as per usual, but we'll get him on front at some point. That cute face, everyone needs to see it.
We'll see about that.
All right, as always, guys, we work hard, we try our best, and we get you some pretty awesome guests, and for me, this is a huge accomplishment. This guy means a lot to me in my career. So I'm very excited. RJ, why don't you tell us who we have for a guest today?
I agree because it's a legend. So without further ado, when it comes to our beloved New England, our next guest may just take the cake. His voice is a New England staple at Patriot home games, and every now and then they put that handsome face on the Jumbotron. And if that isn't a dead giveaway of who this man is, go take a long look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I really a New Englander? From voiceovers of press conferences turning a serious Belichick moment into a hilarious bit that makes everyone smile, or giving us the best rendition of shit Pats fans say, just to shed some light on all those outsiders who think stereotypes aren't real. Because let me tell you, they are, and our guest nails them. From current news or remembering key moments in New England sports history, consider this guy Brady to Jules on third down. Automatic! He does not miss. You can also catch him on WEEI in the afternoons, slanging his sports knowledge for all those lucky listeners. With over 100,000 fans on his socials, plus millions of New Englanders who get to enjoy game day with him, it is an absolute pleasure to introduce our guest. I welcome New England's very own Fitzy to the pod!
That was absolutely epic. I feel like anything I say is only going to garner diminishing returns from here, guys. So thank you so much. That's the pod. This has been So New England. Good freaking evening, New England, and we'll talk to you later.
I love it, dude. Fitzy, I'm so pumped to have you here. So thank you very much for, driving on down and coming to hang with us.
It's great to be here. Sitting across from you, Ian, it's kind of like, as some people have comped us together or like looked and like, hey, that guy Ian, he's kind of like doing some of the things that you do. Or like, you seem like really old, sad Ian Brownhill, Fitzy. I feel like I'm staring across from you. It's like, what if AI was able to de-age me and put joy in my heart again? Bam.
That is fantastic.
That's Ian Brownhill.
I have said from the jump, and I say it to everyone I met, that term that everyone uses, like, oh, you walk so that I could run. Mm-hmm. When was your first video, that first interview bit that you ever put out on YouTube?
Oh, holy smokes. My first video on YouTube, the interviews or any of like those Patriots press conference videos that maybe your generation, I'm about to old us all up real quick. And there's nothing that hurts more in my knees that need glucosamine and chondroitin more than when I'm walking the lots at Gillette before the game, before I go inside and do the JetBlue and everything else, and the Joker on the Jumbotron. And someone goes, Fitzy, what's up? And I'm like, hey, guy, how are you? We go over to shake hands. Then I Purell it because he's probably got something. And, I got a Howie Mandel. It's a long day.
Yeah.
Right? So then they'll be like, man, guy, I've been watching your videos for so long. I'm such a huge fan. I'm like, that's awesome. He's like, yeah, by the way, I was watching your videos in high school. Now I'm 35. And I'm like, oh my God, you're kidding. I've been doing this so long. My first video was in October of 2006.
That's what I said to him. I was I'm pretty sure it was high school.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm pretty sure it was high school the first time we saw that interview, and it went
19 years. Yeah. So
wow.
We were freshmen.
The genesis of it all was basically the Fitzy character, if you will. Spoiler alert, guys, it's not my real name.
Yeah.
I know. Sorry, I don't want to break any hearts. I used to get that all the time, like, hey, Fitzy, I found out your name's Nick Stevens. And worst of all, you live in New York City, even though you profess that you're from Boston. Now you're dead to me, and I used to want to be you cocksucker.
Clip it.
Yeah,
Love that.
That was great. Oh, those were the best emails to receive. But I got started even before social media. Basically, the 30 seconds that'll turn into 5 minutes of it was, I graduated NYU and I was a film major, but the family I grew up with, in the South Shore, like my parents were theater people. So I always had wanted to find a way, and we're diehard sports fans. So I always wanted to mix the theatrical background with film production and sports passion and comedy and sort of like fuse them all together into like a Ninja Blender or a Vitamix, right? So coming out of school, I was in an improv troupe and sketch comedy troupes and whatnot. And a buddy of mine from NYU said, let's start a variety show. Let's do a kind of show where We do characters like on Conan O'Brien. We'll do sketches, improv, and we'll book some, a couple comics every week, and it'll help us branch out into New York City, and we'll have fun. Did it for 7 years. Definitely, probably the most formative creative experience of my life, because I got to make so many awesome friends, all of whom are far more successful than I am now and don't return my emails anymore. That's okay. I love you, John Mulaney, Pete Holmes, Nick Kroll, Aziz Ansari, and everyone else. They're all actually amazing guys.
Yeah.
And I was so lucky to
I think Aziz is here tonight.
You're in Rhode Island?
Yeah, Rhode Island, like Laugh Riot.
No
There's like a
way.
little thing going on. I think because Kevin Hart was at the PPAC on Thursday, and he was. I think Matt Rife did last night. I think he does tonight as the headliner.
I'm just so glad to hear Kevin Hart's finally getting a chance to get in front of some people.
Yeah.
I just feel like he hasn't got enough face time.
Yeah,
recently.
seriously.
Poor guy.
I know, poor guy. He's only done 15 movies in between.
Right, exactly. Matt Rife, king of crowd work, as he's very funny as well. But no, I was very lucky to share a lot of late nights, bad decision cocktails and cigarettes and whatnot with those guys. That was my upbringing. And in that, as I was struggling to sort of find my voice and figure out how do I want, like, what's my shtick? What's my thing? Just randomly one day around 2001, Patriots were getting better. The Boston sports scene pivot started. Brady was in.
Right.
And I had this idea, like, what if I just do, like, I'm just going to go on stage and just talk pop culture and review movies, but I'm going to be the mouthiest masshole ever. Like, that guy that sits behind you at Fenway or used to in the good old days of just pure unfiltered towny life. And these were my dad's best friends growing up, like degenerates that I would sit and they would just have, Miller High Life for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, ripping butts. And when they wanted the TV, there were no, fancy remotes. They would just, hey, shithead, get up and turn the TV. That was me. I was the human remote control. So
moving the antennas and shit.
Exactly. Get up,
foil on
get up on the roof. There was a storm that moved the antenna. We can't see the Pats game. So I basically created this thing called, I was like, I'm going to go, let's see, in Boston, you can't go into a bar without meeting somebody either named Fitzy, Murph, or Sully. So I narrowed it down to 3 and just picked Fitzy and gave the character a backstory. He was a bum from Bill Ricca, but he, had a heart of gold and he, was super smart. Like, cause that's what, like, those guys that say all those obnoxious things at the games, you're like, wow, you have a filthy mouth. But most of what you're saying is true and or funny.
Yeah.
So that's how I narrowed it down. And I just started doing appearances on New York shows and doing stand-up. And everybody thought I was that guy.
Right.
Because I'd sort of lost my accent growing up in Braintree, being away from the South Shore in Boston for so long in New York. And that helped me reconnect with where I was from, the people that were formative in my twisted sports-loving existence. And so I did it for a while and started picking up a little work from it. And out of the blue, one day, my buddy, my best friend from NYU Film School says, hey, I just read in the New York Times, Google just bought this website called YouTube. I think it's going to be huge. Like, this is the friend who comes up to you and says, hey, I think we heard about this computer company, Apple. We should buy some of those stocks. And you're like, who's ever going to do that?
Yeah.
Please get out. I'm going to invest in Texas Instruments.
Right.
Because I have a speak and spell, and I will tell you this thing is amazing. It'll tell you how to spell anything.
You should see the calculators they're going to be coming out with.
Oh my God.
They are the future.
You will be doing math on those well into the 90s. And then you'll be sad and broke. So then his pitch was like, so let's just get together once a week and you just ramble for like 10, 15 minutes, review movies, talk pop culture, hot current events, whatever. I'll edit it down into 3 minutes and we'll just start doing a vlog. And so it began. And we picked up a very small following of people randomly. They're like, oh, this is funny, or like, but it was very niche.
Right.
And so after doing it for a few months, there was a big Patriots playoff game coming up. It was the one where they were underdogs. They went to the 14-2 Chargers, Phillip Rivers, LaDainian Tomlinson, and I was super fired up for the game. So that week I was like, hey, let me just talk Patriots this week. And I waxed, ecstatic about Brady and everything else. And the views went from 500 to 25,000 to 100,000. People just caught on. And they officially thought I was the underground basement, Pat's loving, twisted, perverted, crazy ass super sports fan that they all knew and loved. And
Right.
finally, somebody was saying all the things that they were afraid to say in public, at work, etc. And it took off. And then basically the rest was history. And so I mutated the entire presentation from just being like a niche arts talking pop culturista with a foul mouth to that guy. I was the
Fitzy.
guy in the bleachers. Fitzy, the legend or the genesis of Fitzy was that.
That's amazing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Incredibly cool. And that's why I was saying, it's just, if it wasn't for you, I don't think I would have ever been able to do what I do, because as I started to get on TikTok, I was like, recreating some content that was like, man, Rhode Islanders say this and New Englanders kind of do that.
Right.
And then, I was like, this is literally Fitzy. I was like, I can try and develop Fitzy in a Rhode Island version. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, okay, well, the Rhode Island accent does not really bite that much demographically. So let me just do a Boston accent. I was like, and let me make it bad so that it really pisses people off, because angry people are the ones who are going to comment, review, and watch the most.
Exactly.
And that's what I capitalized on.
It's the Howard Stern principle. Like,
Right.
the people that hate you listen twice as long as the people that are actually fans of yours as well.
Exactly.
What would you say was the hardest thing to learn growing up?
Probably learning how to use, save, or spend money.
You legit worked in banking, did you not?
You're welcome.
Are you still with Dime Bank, or are you too Hollywood now?
Okay, rude, but yes, I am.
Imagine your followers finding out you're with a Connecticut-based bank.
Okay, first of all, they have a branch in Wesley, Rhode Island, which is where we grew up. So really, that's brownie points because I'm sticking to my roots. Second, I think everyone would appreciate that I'm with a bank that knows and understands their community. Their tagline is legit: community banking lives here.
Hey, I'm not asking you to sell me on it. I've been banking with them for years, and they know me on a first-name basis. I'm just saying, I'm surprised is all. I can see the headlines now. Mr. Anti-Connecticut actually banks with local community bank?
Okay, you know what? Follow along with me here. They're FDIC insured, equal housing lenders, wicked friendly. They take care of all my personal needs, have expansive products to help all my businesses, offer lending across the board, merchant services. What more could I possibly want or need? And you know that I secretly like Connecticut, so...
Oh, I hope you heard that, folks. Dime Bank is the reason Ian loves Connecticut.
Okay, you're ridiculous. Funny story, though. You know how they have the mobile app with banking, Lifesaver, you can do all the deposits? Have you tried to teach your mom how to do the mobile deposit
No.
yet? I was teaching my mom how to do it, and she takes a selfie instead of the check. Visit dimebank.com to learn more.
And I love this, I love the soup of your, the way that you sort of built your character or caricature. The difference, though, I was thinking about this on the ride down here today. I've had issues with personally, in my own internal hard drive and then in public with people like, you're Nick Stevens, so what's with Fitzy? Or where did the Fitzy name come from? Or how come people call you Nick Fitzy Stevens now?
Right.
Whereas you've just always been Ian Brownhill.
Right.
There's never I love the fact that you don't have to try to separate character / caricature with who you really are.
Right.
Because who I am when I'm home with my wife and kids, whatever, is a very different person from the guy that's at the game joking around, or if you catch me at a sports bar or whatever in Boston, and I'm, by the way, we're on a Rhode Island podcast, so I, of course,
let's go.
had to wear my Gansett shirt.
Let's
Shout
go.
out to the good people at Gansett.
Love
Hey,
that.
Hi, neighbor.
Yeah.
I'm 5 Gansets deep and someone comes up and meets me. The accent starts to come back a little bit. And
Right.
I'm always happy if somebody comes up and says, hey, I love your videos. Or like, hey, you suck on the radio. Well, at least you decided to be passionate enough to engage me personally. So I
Right,
appreciate that. But the fact that you just get to do it as you, good choice. Because when you create a persona, then what happens is people expect the persona all the
Right,
time.
yeah.
So you constantly sort of feel like you got to perform, or
Exactly.
you always have to be that guy. You have to hey, say something funny about the Patriots. Fitzy, what's your latest take on this trade? How come we can't get a wide receiver? All right, hold on. Let me see what take I haven't recycled. I have to make a funny reference.
Brain just goes.
I mean, and God bless for it too. It's anybody who complains I'm a famous actor and people know me as this comic book hero, but when I'm out in public, I don't want to take any photos. I don't want anyone interrupting me when I'm having supper with my wife, and my girlfriend and my other mistress. You should be so lucky though.
Right.
That someone stops you and says hey, Yuri, I love you on TikTok, or hey, Fitzy, I love you on the radio. Hand me a phone. I'll call. If someone's my brother turned me on to you,
Right.
I'll always say, hey, give me the phone. And I'll call their brother and be like, what's up, jackass? You're not here and we are, so suck it. Thanks
Yeah.
for watching.
Yeah.
Just I don't need to get paid for a cameo or something like that.
Right.
I like just spreading the joy of whatever led you to watch me, or what made you want to do what I do, except much better, handsomely, and with a larger following and profit, you son of a bitch.
I think I just got lucky because of the TikTok thing. Legit, that's all it really comes down to. I don't think that it has anything to do with, I think in general, because I as you were saying, I created this entire persona. I created this entire embodiment of work because I wanted to be an actor, and I want to be an actor. I did some stuff recently, but
yeah, you are just so you know, you are like you're an actor. I'm an actor just because I'm not on stage like I was in theater in high school, or I'm doing what my parents did, which was arguing and smoking a lot, but also being tremendously talented people that never fully realized their thing. Like that was always a big burden to me. Like I always wanted to like accomplish their goals. Like my dad wanted to be on TV. My dad he went to DJ school. He wanted to, you know, do all those things. I got to do that. So like, again, back to my dad walked and did a lot of crazy things so that I could run and have this career. They always wanted a Cape Cod house. I bought a Cape Cod house, like with some of the success that I had years ago, like that meant a lot to me. But as far as what the definition of an actor is, to me, I just say I'm a performer. Are you a broadcaster? Are you are you an actor? No, I'm a performer. I perform for people. I like to entertain people.
Exactly.
So it's a great broad title that I think gives you a comfortable umbrella under which you can fit everything. Whether you do a one-man show, which I could very well expect, your TikToks, podcasts, you're a performer, Ian. You can act, you can do all those things. So don't ever let anyone say like, you're not a real actor.
Yeah. No, I just booked a role. I was just telling them. So I'm going to be in New Hampshire for 3-4 weeks this summer shooting a movie. So
giddy up.
I'm pumped about it. So that was always the intent, like with the content. I was like, I'm just going to I need to get a following. I need to put myself out there on social media, and show people my acting art. And then I was like, I got fired. Everyone was home. And I was like, this TikTok thing I was already on it. And I was like, this is kind of good. And I was like, let me try this character. Cause it was legit that I was on the phone with my mom and she's like, what the fuck? It's snowing. It's October. Why the hell is it snowing? And I was like, this could be a bit. And I just hit record and the rest is history.
And so you out there, that seminal first video of you wiping the snow off your windshield. Well, good friggin' morning from New England, which I saw. Yeah. And then I almost feel like semi-proud of the success that you've had in a lot of ways. That you say that you wanted to sort of not imitate, but emulate or find your version of what I was doing. And also the second I saw it, I reposted your video. So I put it in stories and then I recopied it and I was like, this guy, I forget exactly how.
I'm willing to bet that I took a screenshot and I sent it to the group of these guys. I was like, guys, fucking Fitzy saw my shit. Look at this.
Stiffsy.
That's how excited I was.
Yeah. No, I was thrilled to see it. It was at one moment I was like, oh, that's awesome. That's great that someone's doing that thing. And then at the same time I was like, maybe he can bear the cross of having to be the next funny townie because I'm goddamn exhausted.
Passing the torch.
Exactly. That's the thing. I'm still in the sports lane because I enjoy it and the opportunities have presented themselves to me. What you make of that's the whole thing. It's not about, how successful or what you're doing now. It's like, okay, cool. You got into the room, kid. You made it through the door. Now what? It's not about the screenplay you submit that gets you the meeting with the agent or the producer. It's let me see 5 more. What are your next 10 ideas?
Right.
So this is not so much about hey, funny video, Fitzy. To me, I'm always trying to think, how can I have greater impact with it? And what can I do next? What's that other something that I've always wanted to do because I've been presented with the opportunities? You have to be present as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of work.
It's a grind.
Yeah, it's a grind.
You full well know, but it's
I try not to stick on that too much just because I feel because you're considered or coined a content creator as I am. It's the conversation is always but it's not a real job. And I'm like, look, I worked for 15 years at a real job making minimum wage. I know what sacrifice looks like. I know what it's like to not make any money and be in crippling debt. I get it. Mm-hmm. I'm there for it. I was but also it also took a tremendous amount of sacrifice to get where I'm at. I chose to do the hard thing most of the time and an opportunity came. I capitalized on it. And now I'm working harder than I've ever worked in my life in order to just keep and maintain it.
Yeah.
And now if I want to level up, I have to find another gear that I haven't even discovered yet. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where I've been at. That's why I started the podcast. That's why I'm trying to get on YouTube. I'm thinking long form. It's you have to constantly reinvent. The benefit for me though, versus you is that I am at a time and place and I began my career at the digital video era. Whereas for you, again, you walked so that I could run. And what's hard and must be difficult for you is I'm able to branch out of that niche. That's why I do the thirst traps, the cosplays, the shaving videos, the fashion videos,
right,
and the day in the life. I can do all of those things because I don't have an age demographic that is No, do the thing. Don't do it. And that's why, like, as you're saying, it's like difficult because people see you, they're like, turn it on. But I've just been in a position where I gradually introduce myself to my audience outside of the character. And I'm like, that's just angry Ian. Here's stable Ian that's in therapy and taking care of his shit.
Which I love that video, by the way. The song that you used from 8 Crazy Nights. I won't do enough so that the algorithm catches it and all of a sudden you get flagged by Spotify. But that's great. Like, I remember texting you afterwards saying, like, I'm so proud that you like released a little bit of your actual own self there, but you found a way to make it accessible, relatable, and funny. And I just watched the engagement and the traction. I don't feel like I'm at a point where under the @Fitzy GFY blanket on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, where anyone's like, oh, you have feelings? You got a case of the sads? That's too friggin' bad. Now tell me about Drake May and why he's going to throw 40 touchdowns this year. Like, But that's a conscious choice that I made a long time ago to basically continue to give people what they want.
Right.
Growing up, we'll do a little behind the curtain here. Like, parents were having trouble. I was a fat kid growing up. I got picked on a lot. So that's where I developed my sarcastic sense of humor as a defense mechanism. But I've always been a people pleaser. And it took me well into my late 40s. I'm 51. I know I don't look, thanks.
No,
guys.
you really don't, dude. Honest to God, you don't.
I have good genes. My mom used to
You
work.
just look like you could be maybe my older brother.
Slightly older brother.
Yeah,
yes,
that's
exactly.
Slightly.
Yeah,
We have the same eyes, same head shape.
I'll be Josh Brolin from the Goonies, and you can be Mikey. You'll be Sean Astin. Up here, down here, it's our
movie.
time. Oh,
my nickname from my family growing up is Chunk.
You're kidding.
I swear to God, because I was a chubby kid growing up, so everyone called me Chunk.
Same.
Do the shuffle, the whole thing.
People used to actually ask me to do that.
Yeah.
I like
We get a long story.
Chunk. Side note too, I was telling you guys before we were rolling that I wasn't able to play freshman football because my head was so big, and I was a very hefty child. Shopped at Sears in the Husky section, the most sadly named section, because you think it's going to be awesome and it's not. I was 2.5 bills at like 5'9", heading from 8th grade into high school. Like I was packing it in. Like my Gerbeau jeans and my bum equipment shirt were doing heavy lifting every day, just trying to keep it all together. So when I tried out for the football team, I couldn't get in because they didn't find a helmet big enough to fit my head. Had the BC and New England Patriots equipment manager come down with a hockey bag full of helmets one day. He's like, one of these is going to fit him, for Christ's sakes. I try on 10 different helmets. They're all just like stuffing fat dad in skinny jeans. Like, get on there, boy. None of them fit. Finally, the guy goes into my head coach, Mike Tassone, one of my favorite people in the world, because he ultimately encouraged me to get in shape and start turning my life around. And the guy just goes into my coach and says with a straight face, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do for him. He's got a giant head. I'll never shake those words. I'll never shake the image of that.
Scarring.
I know, but then eventually my mom wouldn't rest. Went out to someplace in Waltham, found a helmet big enough to fit my head, size 8 1/4 helmet, and it was pure white. So the first day that I showed up at football practice, right at the end of freshman year, I come out. Everyone else is dirty, bleeding, bruised, walking with a limp, whatever. They look game used because they're 8 games into a 10-game freshman football season. I come trotting out with the white shoes, clean white pants, white shirt, and the white helmet. And one kid turns and just yells, full pop culture reference intended, in 3, 2, 1. Oh, look. It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This is what makes us us.
Yeah.
This is like
That's
growing
New
up in
England,
New
yeah.
England, growing up. This is what's
So New England, that's where the podcast name comes from. There's a
what
moment
is
like
so
that.
New England? I'm not saying I advocate for bullying. Bullying is terrible. No need for a further PSA or disclaimer. Yeah. But like getting made fun of by your friends and getting your balls busted all the time, RJ, like that is so New England, like 100%. In a loving, and that's 100%. What makes us us. So like people are like, why are you guys so tough? Why do you have that gritty skin about you? Why are you guys the way you are? Come here, deal with this weather, deal with the traffic, deal with the attitude, the elitism, the arrogance, the obnoxiousness, the humor, the heart, all of it, and get made fun of by the people that love you most 24/7, 365. That's what makes us so New England.
100%. I was going to say we have group chats dating back since high school, and people always say like, you're pretty hard on yourself. I'm like, yeah, that's because I'm used to it from my best friends, and there's a few of us in the group chat, and it's like no holds bars. But it's like you said, everyone just knows. Like it's not. It's all.
We all
fun.
have a group chat we're afraid is going to get leaked one day.
Yeah, yeah. If you're not scared that your group chat is going to get leaked and you're going to be canceled forever, you're not good enough friends.
That's a great point. Like if you're, I don't want to say it in like a Jeff Foxworthy voice. If your group chat is not so filthy that when people get a screenshot, you don't get canceled, you aren't doing it New England enough.
I love that.
That's 100%. No, 100%.
100%.
That's the whole thing. So, back to what you were saying. Like when I made the choice to like try to give people what they want. Like I said, I'm a people pleaser. And so that kind of became the thing. Like, okay, I guess I'll just, again, like I said, it's an awesome thing to be recognized for. And God bless that I could actually have any impact in anyone's life, mostly for more positive than negative. But as time has progressed, I still have the same I still have similar passion to like the heyday of Big Papi and Tom Brady and the things that really lit the fires for me and got me into all this. The opportunities they've created for me are unbelievable, and I couldn't imagine a wilder, more enjoyable ride. But there's still a ton of creative life left for me. So still trying to find a way to be that guy or do what I do, but find the room to be able to create alternative content. It's tough, but I haven't backed down from a challenge yet because I was broke and penniless just like yourself. I used to pay for my Subway rides with nickels and dimes. If I was lucky, I could like get a Subway sandwich in my 20s and make it last for like 2 days to get by. Like I had nothing. I didn't have the pot to piss in, the window to throw it out of, the alley for it to land in, or the neighbors to yell at me for doing it. Like I had nothing.
I love that.
It's riddled with credit card debt, nothing. And the first thing that actually, just prior to Fitzy, the first thing that popped for me was voiceover work. Was doing commercial work.
Gotcha.
I did a comedy show in New York years ago. And I had a whole set prepared. It wasn't Fitzy stuff. It was just pure, true stand-up. And I decided to go off the rails that night. And I just threw my set away and just riffed and did a bunch of voices and goofed around. Good set, like 10, 15 minutes. There happened to be a commercial agent in the audience that night. Somebody said, "Hey, my agent was there. They thought you were really funny. My agent was there. Would you mind getting in touch with them?" Like, I've always wanted an agent. It's the hardest thing to do, right?
100%.
You can't, they have to come to you. You can't get any work really or legitimate work without an agent. This used to be the model. Now you know differently.
Yeah.
And they brought me in and met with them, met with the voiceover department as well. 2 commercial auditions in, I got the account voice for Miller Lite Beer. And basically I went from heavy 5 digits in debt to in the clear, paid off my debts with my parents, proposed to my wife, bought a ring, the whole thing, and haven't looked back. And I got to walk into the crap ass job that I had. And I said, "Appreciate this. Thank you very much. But like, I'm not ever doing one of these jobs again."
Yeah.
It was like office space. Yeah. It was just like, I just like walked away like Keanu Reeves at the end of Point Break. I'm never going back.
I have to say, so
cool.
like obviously listening to you on the radio, if there's one thing as multi-talented and like all the facets that you're involved in, your memory and your like recall skills are profound. Like I was listening to you the other day, it was like 2 or 3 days ago, and you were recalling a particular play from like 97 where a kicker missed like wide left that was like important for the Patriots, even though we sucked then or something. And you do it all the time. Like even now, the way that you can recall movies and scenes, like have you always just like, cause my biggest problem, I fucking forget everything, dude. Like my memory is just like, I try. I don't know if it's like the active brain, but like,
is it really bad?
Yeah, like he's like, this is my guy who takes care of everything for me.
Thank God. First of all, God bless you got a guy.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a guy.
Needs a guy.
Skip right over me there.
Yep. Look straight past you.
I'm saying, because I text him 24/7. Hey, we need to do this for the podcast. Hey, I have this idea. Can you put this in your? And it's just like, and then once it's out of my mind, it's like that. He's like, "Did you remember to do this?" I'm like, "No. When did I tell you to do that?" He's like, literally like 48 hours ago. I'm like, I totally forgot.
But that's great.
Yeah.
but look at that as opposed to thinking like, oh, that's something that sucks about me, or like, here are some of the negatives. Like I try to like, as somebody who used to just judge and criticize the shit out of myself all the time. But that happens when you've got body dysmorphia or anxiety and like you grow up like a little bit sad and have
preach
all those things. Like I've grown to instead like, embrace all those things about myself. Like, yeah, I'm quirky. Yeah, sure, I look like microwaved Guy Smiley. Yeah, I've got a body like a Florida avocado. So what? It's kind of what makes me me. It's fine. You know, I can't gain. I could drink 200 TB12 protein shakes if I'm lucky. Following 2 intense weeks at the gym, I'll put on like this much muscle mass. I just can't do it. But if I eat a cheeseburger, I have to take an 8-hour nap. Like, it just nothing works. Nothing about this works. And to your inquiry, yes, I've just always had a memory where you forget those things. That's great. You've got a duck's ass. You're a cornerback. You live to see the next play, and you don't worry about stuff because it just flows straight through you.
Right.
I hold on to everything.
Oof.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
So there's the burden of just like, yeah, you remember all these things. Like, how come you hold on to that one time that your mother and your father got into this argument, or somebody insulted you in 8th grade, or did this or did that? Like, I can't help it. It's just like my mind is flypaper and everything sticks to it. Now, what I've tried to do over the years is find ways to use it for good. So the Fitzy character could rapidly fuse a scene from an Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, get down, come on, do it. Come on, Brady, throw the ball. and all with a game, and who Bledsoe threw a game-winning touchdown to in 1994, and what the count was what I was doing when David Ortiz hit the grand slam in 2013 in the 8th inning against the Detroit Tigers in the ALCS. Like, and it's fun. So that's the thing as we age, evolve, and try to improve. It's like taking the good and the bad for all of us, embracing it, and just finding ways to either be okay with it, utilize it for good, or move on.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's a very good analogy there, comparing the dualities of how one can be really good and one can, be bad. WEEI is very lucky to have you, though. I'm just saying, like, I've been listening to WEEI since probably I was 17 or 18, listening. The first time I listened on like a Brady call-in. And, it's just a lot of good guys there, but it's nice. It's very refreshing when you're on, because it's like when you have someone that's presenting information and facts before just saying an opinion, it's really nice. Yeah. But I feel like my difficulty, and not to badmouth your job, I don't expect you to say anything, and we could even cut it if you don't want it, but it's frustrating sometimes when like people call in and it's like the minute, anyway, so back to what I was saying, and it's like,
right,
I want to hear opinions of what people are saying and then hear answers.
I'm with you.
Like, I think you do a really good job, and the way that you recall all of these things is like, that's one of the things that I enjoy the most about hearing you on the radio.
Thank you.
And you have your own spot now, correct? Your own afternoon show?
Yeah, I'm part of the WEEI afternoon show. So it's
Amazing.
myself, Andy Hart, who's a South Coaster, and Ted Johnson on the show. You know, I've been there about 6 years. I've worked every single part there. I'm so excited to have the opportunity, because it provides a little consistency, which is good. So I know
100%,
where the main check is coming from. I know what hours I'm expected to work. And sometimes, obviously, as football news breaks, things change. You have to expand out of that comfort zone and do another podcast, go somewhere for an interview or whatever. But as a family guy, and my kids are top priority number one, I used to live for the chance to crack that beer, talk about Tom Brady, and stay up all night long replying to tweets, making videos. Now I live for a chance to coach my kids' flag football game, take them to games, hopefully grow their love of Boston sports. And thank God the Red Sox improved their team this offseason, and the Patriots are pivoting and, choosing excellence over shittiness again, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, the afternoon show's a ton of fun. So, and it's not easy when you're on the other station that used to have all the cool cachet, and they were the OG. Right. And then now you're up against the Goliath of the other station in town. But we're a little bit of a different show. We've got a football guy on there. We got a former football writer who's opinionated. And then I'm, the fanboy who's always looking for optimism, opportunity, or a chance to drop a rim stinger or a random Sylvester Stallone reference. Let's go.
I love it. Well, congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment.
It's a blast, man.
That's where
Thank
that
you.
memory.
Hell yeah. Hooray for me. I am the best. Yes. There is the hawk. Good. I'll Venmo you $5 for that. Thank you.
I was going to say, so that's kind of the best part about where your memory comes into play, because I will say he is 100% correct, but when there's like 2 or 3 things that when it comes to his memory, like he can listen to a song one time and it's like the lyrics are there. It takes me,
might be a touch of autism, I'm not really sure. Could be.
Well, everyone's got a little lick. We love that.
You found the right part of the spectrum.
That's what I mean.
Again, celebrate that about yourself, as opposed to just like,
because
you're like, you know what you are? You're human Shazam. So
Oh,
you're
yeah.
the, you're the so
Let's
think
go.
so think about that. Like it's fun, not as in like the hooray.
Yeah,
although
not
you're sort of
that guy. Not
you're sort
that
of
guy.
built superheroish, but like, and I know it comes with a lot of work in the jam, but like that's cool. Like people can bring you out to a party and be like, "What's this song? Ian, come here, listen to this for 5 seconds. What's this tune? I want to download it later. Thanks, guy." That's awesome.
I love it.
No, it is though, and like but on the other thing you were talking about, the people pleasing thing. I think in our society now, when it comes to this, actually being able to turn content creation into a career, I think a lot more people are finally coming to the side of, and I can say this about him specifically in the last 6 months to a year, where it's like, you know what? I'm not just that character. I am so much more than that, and dabbling in other things or looking to do other stuff is happening more and more. So you see these people just being themselves, and then when you see those same people, you know, like Ian, that same content sticks, you're like, I knew it. Because like, I mean, I've known him, you talked about it, I've known him more than half my life. So it's like, I've always known him as the guy he is, and I love him for that, you know?
Wow.
So it's
Look
like,
at this.
when you
about
see,
this? Not
What a guy.
I tend to create breakthroughs. It's okay.
This is amazing.
This is amazing.
but it's like, sponsored by Dime Bank.
Yeah. Nailed it.
But it's really cool because, like you said, you know, you told us the time frame of when you kind of started, when you're first, like 2006. We were freshmen. We didn't really. I mean, I didn't know what YouTube was besides just a random place that people watch weird videos.
Funnyjunk.com is what I used to watch.
Yeah. So like to see where it's become now, and like realistically, like the people who started that, and I don't know when YouTube started, obviously, but
2005.
yeah, okay. So thank you.
And they sold
because-
a little over a year later. Like they started in a garage in California, and then a little over a year later, wham, Google buys it for what was a blank ton of money at the time.
Yeah. Right.
But I'm sure if they probably
Kicking
saw
and
what it was
screaming
going to
out.
turn to now, they're like, it was worth 500 times more. But you know, that's the chance you take of cashing in early on
100%.
something.
But yeah, no. So
I'm sure they probably did fine with 50 million or whatever it was.
I mean, I'm just rambling at this point, but thank you
Oh my!
for doing what you did for him, so I can witness it. And now I'm here.
Yeah, and it's right.
I'm bringing this about me.
Yeah, it's
Trying to be selfish. No, I'm just kidding.
I got my, you know, I should shout out people that inspired me. Like I talk about my dad and his friend Phil and all those people that I grew up hanging with. RIP to all of them, absolute townie legends. You know, when I went to film school, I wanted to be like the Zucker brothers who made Airplane and Naked Gun. John Hughes, a huge influence on my life. The Blues Brothers, all those zany comedies of the 70s and the 80s, back when, you know, movies could be rated R for like raunch and just, you know, and like the things were just, the comedy was broader, Rodney Dangerfield, etc. And then when we were making these videos, there was a series, I think it wasn't on Funny or Die, it was someplace else before, because there were some upstart small content engines and websites that were funny in the early 2000s.
Right.
There was a web series called Ask a Ninja. And basically this guy got in a ninja outfit, and it was all rapid jump cuts, and he would just like answer questions from people and do ninja stuff, and then there would be interstitials of just like bad ninja moves and whatnot. And so that's editing
Why do I
style.
remember this? I feel like I've seen this.
You could Google it now, and you can go back and watch the videos. They're shot in square. They're lousy resolution because it wasn't high def.
Right.
But they were very funny, and I loved that just sort of like acerbic, spur of the moment, top of your brain, staccato style to it.
Right.
And that's how we started making the Fitzy videos, where I'd say something and then I would meta comment on myself. So, you know, I'd be the main voice, but then I'd be the voice of this townie, but then I'd be this guy from the comment section. So it allowed me to sort of like access all parts of my passion, my knowledge, and all that stuff. It was really fun.
What are your top 3 least favorite chores?
Ooh, that's easy. Laundry, having to fold the laundry, and then trying to put that laundry away.
So the whole laundry process. Yeah, I'm truly convinced that my dryer eats my socks.
I wouldn't doubt it. But you know, this wouldn't be happening if you would just sign up for Happiness Laundry, like I told you.
You tell me a lot of things.
That's fair, but when it comes to wicked convenient things like this that can save you time, you should listen.
I'm vaguely remembering this now.
Yeah, there we go. You take your dirty clothes, you put them in the provided bag, and then schedule a pickup through the app. Leave it outside for them to grab. You remembering all this now?
Yeah, but I don't need it every week, nor do I need another subscription.
You don't do your laundry okay, you know what? It doesn't matter because you can customize it with any day that you need, and there's no contracts. You don't have to worry about a subscription.
But what happens to all my clothes?
What do you mean? You think they're just stealing your undies? They bring it back washed, dried, and folded right back to the place where you left it to begin with. 24 hours later. Fast, professional, convenient. The only downside is I can't seem to convince them to put it away for me as well.
Yeah, but you know me, I'm picky. I like my laundry a certain way.
Again, Sassy Pants, you can go online or in the app and customize the detergents, temperatures, and how you want it folded.
This kind of sounds like you're promoting them right now.
That's because I am. All listeners can get 10% off their first bag on us. Just use promo code SONEWENGLAND. That is SONE now. Let's get into New England stuff now.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite sports moment in New England history?
Yes, easily. It's so definite, so clear. The Vinatieri's game-winning kick, Super Bowl 36, the first. It'll never be better.
Gotcha.
No, as great as Super Bowl 51 was, as incomparable as that comeback was, to be on death's doorstep and then, just be living the nines, to go from the outhouse to the penthouse, which the Patriots did in back-to-back Super Bowls, 49 with Butler,
right.
51 the comeback. I'll never forget where I was, the people I hugged, all the crazy moments they're in, but
insane.
The game-winning kick in Super Bowl 36, I was in Brooklyn. I just started dating my wife, and we were 2 months into it, whatever. I was with all my NYU filmmaking and acting buddies, all the comedy pals and whatnot. So there were 20-some of us stuffed into an apartment in Brooklyn. And the game was wild. We couldn't believe that whole postseason run was just so improbable. And, the legend of Brady was growing by the day. And Bledsoe got his moment in the AFC Championship, throwing the touchdown to David Patton. Brady then throws the exact same touchdown to David Patton a week later on a bum wheel in the Super Bowl. Oh, my God, I think they can beat the Rams. Last football game I ever saw with my dad in real life was the Rams game back in November where the Patriots lost to them at the old shitty it was 2001, so it was old Foxborough Stadium. That was its last season. Sent it out, RJ, on a hell of a note with the snowball against the Raiders in the Tuck Rule game.
Yep.
So the games back and that was unbelievable. That whole year, just
seriously
to live that again and to think like this is going to be the onset of a two-decade long double dynastic run that will also be the tide that raises the entire city, the region. The Bruins will have to be better. The Celtics will have to be better. Holy shit!
Up.
The whole you probably heard this line growing up, Ian, but the old line used to be, the Red Sox, they killed my father and my grandfather, and now they're coming for me. And to think that we would go from like that to 4 World Series in 15 years, unthinkable. But it began with a single game and a single great coach and a single plucky young upstart quarterback who was to be the GOAT. And that kick, I'm with all my friends. We're standing on top of a sofa like we can't believe it. Like I'm up on the arms. I'm holding onto a curtain. Whatever buzz I had was like null and void at the moment because like the endorphins were kicking in like, holy shit, this is it for the first Super Bowl. The second it left his foot, everybody, like the second it left his foot, you knew it was good from 78, let alone from 48.
Right.
And we all just lost our shit. Like I've never jumped around, thrown things, hugged, cried, just that. God, I can't even feel like the bumps on my face right now going up again. And the call on the radio with Gil Santos, it's good.
Yeah.
Adam Vinatieri, the Patriots win the Super Bowl. And you can hear Gino Cappelletti, RIP, in the background just going, hooray! Just making old man sounds. Hooray! Yay! I am happy.
Even better when Madden was like, I would hold the ball here. I wouldn't,
What am I going to tell you, Pat? Right? Probably, I don't think I'd go. I'd tell Brady to take a knee. And then Pat somewhere was like, Tom Brady on the 5. I am dead inside. There we go. Throws it to J.R. Redmond. First down, Patriots. So this ends with, after the whole celebration with my friends, I ended up like, we're all just a bunch of us on the floor after we had done this giant group man hug thing. And as it turns out, I won the football squares pool.
Oh, cool.
So my buddy who was running it came over and goes, hey, Stevens, guess what? You also won the pool. And he takes like this bucket of $150, which was all 1s and 5s, and pours it over top of me on the floor. So there I am, like on the bed, an indecent proposal, just like rolling around in a pile of 1s. It doesn't get any better. I then go in the bedroom, my buddy's bedroom. I pick up the phone. And I call my dad because I have to connect with my dad. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God, you raised me to love this that much. And I call him and we're celebrating him. I can't believe it happened. They did it, Dad. And then I told him, I was like, you know what? I'm so happy, Dad. I'm going to tell you right now. I think I'm going to marry this woman. It was the first time I ever even acknowledged those feelings. Like, I think I love this woman. I'm going to marry her. And then here I am.
Wow.
23 years, 6 Super Bowls, 2 kids, and a whole life of wild rides later.
That's
That's
so,
amazing.
what a great story.
That's a great moment. That's
I feel like
so cool.
I feel like the Super Bowl, we were younger, 2001. So I was in 3rd grade. We were in 3rd grade,
Yep.
right? Yep. Because that's when, so 3rd grade. So like we were young. So it was like really cool that like the local sports team like won the Super Bowl, but we didn't understand the magnitude of it. So I would
Tell 'em
say,
ours.
I was gonna say the second run was probably a little bit more impactful for us just because we were older.
We were always
and that
together.
28-3 game, which was also yesterday, 328. Shout out the Falcons for blowing it, and Belichick's girlfriend for wearing the T-shirt. in
People
her
talk.
house.
Oh my God! People talk. Jordan.
Oh my
God!
So-
72-24. I mean, the funniest joke still is like that guy, the dude who does those pregame things, and he was like, when he was interviewing Brady, he was like, "If you had to, would you rent a car for?"
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Bill Belichick's girlfriend.
That was so good. Did you guys see that
Unreal.
one?
Yeah.
That
was so good.
funny.
But yeah, I can see how the back half dynasty was more impactful
Yeah.
to you
Yeah.
guys because
It also felt like the whole time we were like, this is Tom Brady. Like we're supposed to be winning, and we were so close every time. And then we go through 2 losses with the Giants, which were brutal. And then, so the Falcons Super Bowl moved back from Miami. In
We
our
lived
apartment
together.
right over here,
Yep.
we had a projector screen.
Yep.
And I actually was like the first time I have the video still. It was like the first time I've ever tried a video. And I have this Patriots beanie helmet that I wear. If you've ever seen it in the stadium. And I was like, tonight is the night. The Patriots take on the Falcons. And, we reclaim everything. And it was like, and here's the funniest part. Never drank till I was 21. As you know, I'm sober. So never drank till I was 21. Drank a little bit. This is the last time I ever drank. So I'm drinking.
you drank once.
21 to like 20. We were 24 when they won the last one. So
Yeah.
I drank from maybe 3 years, and 4 beers, and I was gone for the entire day, maybe half the next.
Once every 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
better
drinking
that way.
during the Super Bowl, have 3 or 4, and I'm getting really pissed. So at this point, I'm pretty buzzed. I'm miserable. 3-28.
It's 21-3, then it goes 28-3.
Yeah.
This is the culmination
Miserable.
of everything. All my hopes, expectations. 2 weeks since the AFC Championship. Not to mention a miserable couple of years of everybody calling you a cheater and a piece of
the
garbage
worst.
for rooting for this team.
The worst.
Your values are out of whack. You people up in New England suck. That's why that one would be number 2, and that's why that one meant so much.
Right.
Yeah.
Not only just validating. I mean, Brady needed no further validation after the first couple of
Absolutely
Super
not.
Bowls, but then to do it again, to play so well against Seattle on the heels of the initial accusations of Deflategate, and
right.
then 2 years later to miss out on going to the Super Bowl when it was in San Francisco in Super Bowl 50. I don't want to get into the 1,000 reasons why they shit that bed.
Yeah.
But then next year, 51, he suspended the first 4 games, comes back. I drove, we flew to Cleveland, and I was absolutely had to be there for the first game back as he began the one that he called the FM All Tour.
Yep.
And had his best year, 32 touchdowns, 4 picks, just an absolute psycho killer that whole year. And to think it's all going to lead to this. So now everybody can tap dance on his grave and say he's washed, he's done, he's
I'm
a
getting
cheetah.
chills. I'm getting
You
chills,
people-
Fitz.
The theater behind that was beyond spectacular.
It was amazing.
And when people say
And
Kyle
he ate it
Shanahan,
up.
he
He ate it up.
He
In
lives
such-
for that.
Oh, I know.
Knowing him more now,
Yeah.
honestly, excited me. I wish I knew more of this Tom that I know now then, because I'd be that would have been even more entertaining to know. This is what he's thinking and this is what he's feeling. Because he was always never really gave you a ton.
Yeah.
Even on the interviews in the morning, I was always like, "Come on, Tom, give us a little bit more."
Super
Give
reserved.
that man 4 weeks of rest and relaxation.
Biggest mistake.
More than everybody else. And the concept of deflating balls, maybe. And he's going to come back. Are you? No.
You gave him extra time to just be an absolute killer.
And he was.
And
He was.
I remember he used to I used to just get such a rush off of whenever he would post video, a photo when he first got into socials, and it would be him in his home gym. And there'd be a clock in the corner.
Yes.
And that was counting down to kickoff of the next Super Bowl because that was his goal, to get to this. And so everything he was doing, you can understand why, things didn't end well with him and Giselle and drove her right into the arms of Karate Champ because he was truly married to football until he finally divorced himself from it, and then got back into it, owning the Raiders now, which is also kind of weird. And calling games, it's fine.
Calling games is fine.
I'm not gonna lie, love Tom. I'm a little bit turned up. I'm like, okay, enough with like the buying and the set. Like, you have enough money, like just like get involved in football in like some capacity, but like all the other stuff, I'm kind of like exhausted by. I'm like, how much fucking money do you need, Tom? You got enough.
Are you at peak saturation, Brady?
Kind of. I mean, a little bit. Like, and it's also like, I don't know. I love seeing all these different facets and the things he's getting into. It also breaks my heart with like his Instagram stories all the time with his kids. I'm like, it just feels like a very sad dad where he's just like, I love my kids. I'm here. And I'm like, oh my God, this poor guy. Cause it's like, how sensitive and big his heart is.
I used to love watching, the Tom versus Time series and all those scenes. Everybody in the rest of the world, the Brady hating, super jealous, anti-New England people were like, oh yeah, why don't you go back and kiss your kid again? I'm like, it's kind of funny because it was
if I was a non-New England fan, that's the first thing I would say.
First thing I would glom right onto. But I used to just love watching the scenes with him interacting with the kids because like I said, I live for the joy in my kids' eyes and heart, and that's all I want out of this life is for them to be half as happy, or twice as happy, or 10 times as happy as I am, or could ever have imagined being. But so I've had some chances I've met basically the whole family. Never met him.
I know. We talked about this.
Isn't that crazy?
Talked about this at the his Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's
Patriots.
right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. So I've interviewed him on the radio.
Right?
I've interviewed him on the radio. I have obviously hosted the red carpet and the pre-show for Tom Brady night at the stadium, which was awesome. Just thrill of a lifetime, really. Like if that was the last thing I ever did, where anybody ever called me Fitzy, that would have been a happy way for me to just walk gently into the goal, like to sail off into the end of like Return of the King, like the end of the Lord of the Rings movie. Like I would have been beyond happy, or like at the end of Last Crusade, where Indy and his dad are on the horseback riding into the sunset. Like it would have been perfect. We would need no Kingdom of the Crystal Skull after that, right? But even met the parents. I got an invite back in 2018 to Harpoon Brewery. They were doing a beer launch. They were doing the East Coast brewing of Kevin Youkilis's beer. He's got a craft brewery out in California called Loma.
Okay.
And they were just doing 2 IPAs of theirs. One of them was a 9%er, packed a wallop and a half, called Greek God of Hops, because they called Uke when he played baseball the Greek God of Walks. So I got an invite to come. It was great. Perfect. So I got an invite to go over there that night. And so I went brought some friends, and I thought it'd be cool. Like, hey, maybe I'll meet Uke, snap a pic, have some beers, whatever. This is awesome. Out of the blue, I'm at the bar, and someone comes over and taps me on the shoulder and says, "Are you Fitzy?" I was like, yeah. People, at first I tried to play it cool. Like, no, people confuse me with him all the time. No, sorry. I'm the guy from Modern Family.
Fitzy, I was going to say you look like Phil. I was going to tell you that.
I've been asked that so many times. Like, I would love his SAG residuals, but no, I'm not him.
Seriously.
So I was like, no, I look like, she's like, no, really? I was like, yeah, no, I am. My name's Nick, but I'm Fitzy. She's like, I'm Nancy, Tom Brady's sister. She's like, do you have a minute? Mom and dad are here. They would love to meet you. I was like, your mom and dad? Like Superman's parents? Like Jor-El and whatever her name was, like from Krypton, they're here. Like Diane, whatever it was. Laura. Jor-El and Laura. I even said that to her. I was like, Jor-El and Laura are here? My God, you're kidding. Yes, I would love to. Hold on. I put my beer down and I go over. And there's Galen, Tom Brady's mom, who had just had cancer and recovered a few years prior, and Tom Brady's dad. And I'm staring at them, and I can't believe this moment. And I'm about to launch into, you guys have no idea what you mean to us. I love you so much, whatever. Brady's dad looks at me and just goes, "Oh, Fitzy!" And he starts doing the Wayne's World. He goes, "We're not worthy."
Oh, my God.
And
Imagine that.
I was like, I'm supposed to be doing that. What are you doing? And he's like, man, you are one twisted son of a gun. And, wow. He's like, we've been watching your videos for years. We want to thank you so much for how you supported Tommy through all the scandals, how much you love rooting for the Patriots, all the nice, funny, crazy things that you say about him and the team. Like, we just, you're awesome. Like in the Brady house, we love you. And I just thought, like, I should have just mic dropped and walked away at that moment. Like, Like with everything else, I've just continued to just drive my IP into the ground over the last couple of years. What reputation? Yeah, that was incredible.
That's
What
so
an
cool.
incredible
Well, it's
accomplishment.
well deserved. I can promise you that.
Agreed.
Thanks.
Absolutely well deserved.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, they say don't meet your heroes, like, but when you meet your heroes' parents, like sometimes
Yeah.
it's pretty cool like that.
So close on the red carpet. I had Joe Andruzzi in here on Thursday, and he's
He's the best, by the way.
He's the nicest guy.
so
He's the-
nice.
I'm
The nicest.
so honored to be associated with the Andruzzi Foundation and
Right.
host stuff
You
for
hosted
them.
it,
And
right?
and you do some stuff for them too. Like, it's great because the work that they do, like think about like what we're all doing in here right now. We're having fun, busting balls, shooting the shit, right? And it's great. You'll make a video later. I'll do something else. And we love the responses, the hearts, the regrams, the reposts, etc. Right? But to ultimately do something and then answer your higher calling and create like what they've done with JAF, the selflessness of that like their foundation's dedication is to paying the bills for people who go financially insolvent because they've got cancer. Like the cowardice of the great enemy of humanity, has just like robbed people of their dignity, and they're sick and they can't barely move. And that the Andruzzi Foundation swoops in under cover of the night, like the heroes they are, and make sure that you've got groceries or you have an Uber to get to your appointment so they can put a port full of chemicals into you just to try to prolong your life or make you better again so you can have a catch with your kids or go on a family vacation. Like, to me, that's it. I ultimately want to start a foundation. I'm going to call it the old Fitzy catchphrase, GFY, go fuck yourself. I want to call it the GFY Foundation, good for you. And I just want to do...
Oh, I love that.
I just want to do... Yeah, that would be a kind of fun turn of phrase there.
That's a great term.
And I'm not sure what it's going to be, but I just like, whether it's providing opportunities for kids, clean ballparks or whatever, helping people when they're at their worst moment like that. Like guys like Andruzzi, you want to talk about, walking so we could run. Well, he pushed mother effers out of the way so we could maybe blast through a hole and hopefully one day do good for people too.
Amazing. I couldn't agree more.
How was your pod with him?
It was great. He was awesome.
He was so nice.
He was
what
fantastic.
a guy.
Isn't it fun? It's kind of sort of like, what if Sylvester Stallone played football and was like really chubby?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Joe Andruzzi.
Accurate. We'll put a side by side of you guys talking there.
Yeah. It's okay, guys. I speak Andruzzi.
That is so
So
good.
I've done it to his face. It's okay. He gets it.
Oh, no,
I was
Joe
gonna
is,
say, I'm
he
sure he
loves it.
would
He's such a
love
ball
that.
buster.
He's
I know.
great.
His hand is like the size of our chest.
Oh my! That's what I said.
yeah.
The craziest thing was meeting Matt Light and doing some stuff with him and Andruzzi. I'm like, dude, these are absolute. And I've got like decent sized hands. Like I can palm a basketball. They're like skinny. They're not, but like these are absolute like mall mitts. Like I just think to myself, like if this grabbed my head, it could squeeze
Their
it.
paws.
Yeah.
Like they don't even have to, like, you understand just how violent trench warfare is on the offensive
my
and
God.
defensive line in
It's
football.
yeah.
Like Joe has even done some things before, at the age of 50, all 350 pounds of him still just stacked with all of that muscle and girth and strength. And he's just
unreal.
like giving me a bear hug or just like patted me on the shoulder. And he like moves. I'm like, hey, poof. Like, just he's so damn strong.
Yeah.
You can't, it just doesn't make sense. I've always said that professional athletes are X-Men. They
100%.
really are heroes.
100%.
In a lot of ways, like not just like comic book or superheroes. They're mutants. Their ability, like you're not supposed to be able to throw a baseball 100 miles an hour.
Nope.
You shouldn't have a hand the size of a normal human foot. You shouldn't be that strong, be able to jump 12 feet in the air. Like, it's truly amazing how, like, in our DNA, like every 1 millionth person, it skips a little piece of the coding and creates somebody that can do something that one day will make them money and then provide memories and thrills for us.
Isn't it insane? We were at work one day and we were comparing the offensive line for the Eagles because it's probably one of the greatest offensive lines of all time. Let's be real. Those guys are monsters.
If we're being honest.
How tall they are and how big they are, but also freak athletes compared to the first Super Bowl winning Packers offensive line, height and size wise.
Yeah.
70 pounds, and they're all faster now. It was
Crazy.
average like 6'2", 6'3", about
Yep.
250, 260. Easily 6'4", 3 and change. All of them. And
Bare
they
men.
can move.
No, they can. You saw it at the
insane.
combine recently.
Yeah.
You've got guys that are 6'4", 6'6", 320, and they're running 5-second 40-yard dashes.
Yeah.
The Patriots just signed to replace David Andrews, awesome career,
Amazing career, yeah.
super incredible guy as well.
We love you, David.
Yeah, he's awesome. Bear's the best. Absolute legend. Deserves all the accolades and love he's gotten from Pats Nation. But they signed this guy from Minnesota, Garrett Bradbury. He's like 6'2", 305. So that's considered undersized, and Minnesota moved on from him and signed a more expensive guy in free agency because they said he couldn't hold up his blocks in pass pro against some of the larger, ginormous behemoths on the defensive line these days. And just to think, like 6'2", 300 pounds, and you're not big enough. And yeah, like they comped him to an old center from the Patriots from back in the days where you guys caught on, Ryan Wendell, like smallish. Big, now he'd walk in the room and be the biggest person by a mile, and yet not big enough. Like you've been around. Did you meet or you've seen Gronk in real life?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Nope. Never.
Have you,
Yes,
RJ?
we have. He was there at the red carpet.
Gronkowski?
He's tough to miss. He's Gronk.
We saw him.
Nope.
No,
Rob Gronkowski was not there. Gordy and his brothers.
they're all giant. too,
giants.
yeah.
But no, we've never been around Gronk.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, so that'll happen. It's going to happen one day, sometime
we
at
talked
an
about
event.
your memory
Julian
being
Edelman
bad,
is the only
so-
guy I met.
Yeah,
I met him by chance at Fenway
feel
Park.
like-
met Edelman as well. Been hung out with the parent. They're awesome.
Greatest catch in Super Bowl history. I will die on that hill.
Oh,
Greatest
10
catch in NFL history. Sorry.
Yeah.
I know that there's a lot more talent. I know the OBJ. I get it. I'm sorry. But in that kind of moment, in a Super Bowl, when you're in the middle of a comeback, 3 guys tackling you and you get your hand. I'm sorry. I think it's the greatest catch in history. Just putting that out there.
It's inarguable, and people will be like, "Yeah, what about the helmet catch? Because you're trying to slay a dynasty and stop them from having a perfect season." Like, amazing,
Right.
Deserves
Amazing.
to be top 5, but for Edelman to try, like the comeback dies if he doesn't make that catch.
Agreed.
Have it bounce off a defender, go up in the air, bounce again. Knowing how all these other catches have gone against the Patriots.
Yeah.
The Manningham catch in 46, Tyree in 42, in 49, the curse catch where it bounces off Malcolm Butler. Deron Harmon leaps over him and he catches it. And we're all like, you've got to be shitting me. It's happening again. How does this keep happening? And then, of course, thank God Butler with the brilliant play. That is the greatest catch ever. The Edelman catch in Super Bowl 51 by far. But as far as Gronk goes, when you meet him, you're just like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You don't compute.
Right.
And by the way, shout out Mrs. Gronkowski. She's spat 5 of those things out and then raised them in a rumpus room where their whole milk bill. They must have had a milk cow in their backyard. Holy smokes. Just to think you're raising 5 6'7",
Monsters.
just monsters, battle
With
bots.
all due respect, monsters. I mean that in the most
The best
loving
kind
way possible.
But like you meet him, like I'm 6'2", $190. Not that I'm, big by any stretch, but I'm larger, I'm taller or bigger than people think I
Absolutely.
am from seeing me in a pixelated box or on a phone. And even I like shake up when I meet Gronk and his hand is like, oh, what's that tickling the inside of my elbow? Oh, that's your fingers. Because your hand is this large.
yeah.
That is
And like
so funny.
he has a hand that's actually the size of a foam finger that you wave at a stadium. Huge.
All right, let's do some So New England segment questions. Rapid fire here.
Let's do it,
All right.
baby.
Rank your New England sports teams in order.
Patriots, Red Sox, Celtics, Bruins, Free Jacks, Revolution.
Oh, there we go.
I gotta
Okay,
include
so
have you
And
been
now
to
we
a
got-
Free Jacks match?
I haven't been to one yet.
You're
They've
coming
invited me.
with-
I
you're
have
coming
to
with
so
me
bad.
this
Yeah,
season.
I'd love to.
You're coming with
And we
me.
got the Boston Cannons now for the lacrosse, so we're trying to put them on the map.
Okay, there we go.
So
Let's
there we
put
go.
them in. And then we've got the Professional Women's Hockey League
Yes,
coming
we
in.
do, yep.
So they're doing well. There's that.
There's a lot going on.
All
We
right.
also have the Connecticut Suns. We're trying to put them on the map too. So
Yep.
Okay,
UConn Huskies.
We need better college sports in New England.
we do.
I'm rooting for Bill O'Brien to make BC a thing again. Like we just
I
need,
would hope so.
We miss it. I mean,
do.
it's just it's too bad. It's just not the thing that it is in the rest of the country.
Yeah.
But
Amen to
that's
that.
and it's all. By the way, it's always been that for me too. It's not like you became a front runner when the Patriots got good. Like I've just always loved football. My dad was a gambler. Football was always on television.
Yeah.
I've watched him from cradle to grave. Like I remember getting in the car, going to smoke-filled car to watch the Pats lose.
Football brings everyone together, and football is the type of sport you can watch no matter who you're with and where you're at. Right.
Yeah,
I'm not a die-hard like baseball guy, but take me to Fenway Park, I'm in.
Sure.
Bruins the same. I don't understand hockey a ton. Love going to it. Playoff time, I'm locked in. That's just kind of how it is.
Isn't it funny how hockey just changes? Like I can't skate, obviously, have no balance. I think I had my center of mass removed as a young child. It's awful. So I've never been a hockey guy, but when playoff hockey comes around, all of a sudden the energy changes, the intensity
You feel
ramps up, and you're like, this does mean something. It
does.
Yeah.
It's a blast.
Yeah.
I will watch in the spring as well.
Sad
but
that Marsh is
give me,
gone.
I know.
Yeah.
Sad about it. Okay. New England states, all 6 of them, rank them in order.
Oh, easy. Massachusetts, Massholia, Mass, and friggin' Massachusetts.
There you go.
Everything's better in Massachusetts.
Everything's better. Okay.
No, I'll go Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Maine, and then the top half of Connecticut. Because let's be honest about the bottom half.
Yes.
And sadly, that's where I live.
Yep.
Go fuck yourselves. Pick an identity, Connecticut. You can't be part of 2 regions. You know, half of the top half of Connecticut is part of New England. The bottom half is part of the tri-state region. Talk about having your cake and eating it too. It's 2 different places.
I've been proposing this. I proposed it on my last episode. We just put a clip of it. I think we should split it.
Yes.
Rhode Island is not great as an economy. I'm repeating myself here, but if Connecticut could adopt us and we can split the cost and we can bring that kind of influx of people and money, just make that and then cut it off and make that part of Connecticut, New York.
We're gonna cut out New Haven. We'll keep the pizza.
We'll definitely keep the upbeats.
Yeah, we might
Bridgeport.
even if it's just we might just like kind of do this and then just kind of just New Haven for the pizza.
Yeah.
So wait,
so
so
just let Bridgeport and New Haven float into the ocean.
That's fine. I'm going to be honest. No one's going to miss it. What about Bridgeport? So your idea is to have Rhode Island and the top half of Connecticut. So New England becomes 5 states, and you guys become a super state.
And we become a super state.
Connecticut Island?
Because everything is just falling apart here.
Is it Rodeticut?
Rodeticut. Oh, that could work. Rodeticut
cool,
could work.
because no one has Rodeticut here, so there you go, guys.
And
I'm an idea guy,
I love
guys.
this.
You know, I'm an idea guy.
That'll be the license plate.
Catchphrases. In another life, I probably should have been a madman. I should have been an advertising guy because I can
just see
turn
like
a
a
phrase,
mad
come up with a
scientist.
a tagline.
I don't know how well traveled you are, but if you could add an additional state or maybe country to New England, weather, traffic, people, the whole 9, which one would you bring?
Well, I'd instantly add Florida because
Amen.
I mean, and that's where you have so much expatriated Massholia as well.
Right.
I mean, maybe the best Boston sports bar is a Boston sports bar that's not in New England. It's the Foxborough Sports Tavern down in Naples, Florida.
Naples,
it's incredible. It's just, Naples is where I want to retire. Or if I could, if the next question was snap your fingers and where would you go live right now? And everything would be the same. Your work would be good. The kids would be in a good school. I'd go live in Naples, Florida. It's
This is weird. We're so much alike. It's so crazy because I lived in Miami for a little bit, so Florida's been it's like my state. I got family in Miami, Orlando, and Tampa. So
I do too. I have family just outside Jacksonville, family an hour south of that, family in Miami as well, relatives over and good friends in Naples as well. Awesome. You go right across Alligator Alley 75, straight across.
Oh man, that road done me dirty a few times.
Don't run out of gas or break down there because it'll end like the season 1 of True Detective. Like the Yellow King will come out and take you. But it's so great there because it's like great weather and it's like everyone's happy. It's just during the pandemic when it was January of 2021. We were still broadcasting outside of studios. Everything was remote. I had just done the Cam Newton post-Tom Brady season of the Patriots. We did an empty stadium's worth of content that year.
Yep.
We did a streaming show for the fans from the stadium. I did it with Kayla Burton. It was like her first job ever. It was super fun. But my kids were all sitting at home on iPads and laptops learning, and it was so stagnant and it was so sad. And a family friend said, we have this lovely condo in Naples, Florida. We're not using it during the pandemic. We're staying here in Rhode Island. They live in Westerly. And that's
where we're from.
Yep.
Shout out Westerly.
I got a ton of friends. I got friends who swear Barrington is the highest quality of life in the world. They love it. So many friends around here that they get into Rhode Island and they're like, I never want to leave.
Yep.
But we went there and we lived there for 3 months.
Oh, no kidding. Okay, cool. That's awesome.
I got to cheat on life, basically. Like in my mid to late 40s, I got to Winterbird. So I basically was like, this is why people come to Florida for January, February, and March.
Just happier. Just a better.
I was done with work by 3 every day. I'd wake up early, go for a jog, take the kids, go for a swim, work, do a radio show, write, create content, whatever. And then we'd be at happy hour every day by 4:30, just chock full of vitamin D. Like, I got so much sun in me right now. God, I can do anything. I'm so freaking happy. I'm not used to this. I'm from Massachusetts. I haven't been miserable in 73 days. What the F?
And that's why we love Florida. And that's why half of Florida is all New Englanders.
It is. Keys.
And then the Keys are just the people from, Southie or
Yeah.
or
They're
Providence.
filthy.
Yeah.
They're so weird. But have you been to Key West?
Oh yeah,
It's incredible.
and everywhere. Yeah, it's awesome.
So fun.
So much fun. The whole state.
It's
is
great.
a good time.
Shout out to the other state that I would be happy to if we acquired it in a trade. Wisconsin. Love it.
Never been.
Their values, their price, great people. It's
Awesome.
it's all sports, good
Add
food.
that to our travel list.
I would highly recommend.
In the summer, though.
I got to be, here's an opportunity that doing the Fitzy shtick created for me. Years ago, I did a show for CBS Sports Network for 3-4 years called Tailgate Fan. The idea was very simple. It was like Dave Attell's Insomniac. He used to go do comedy shows and he would barge into frat houses on a Friday night. And when he was in town at, University of Wisconsin-Madison or wherever, Va Tech, the camera crew would follow him around and he would just go there and go drink with these kids and hang out and then do his comedy show. And they turned it into a show. So this was part Attell's Insomniac, part Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. We would travel to a college campus every weekend. Friday night, we would go to all the college bars and I would interview kids. What's fun? What do you drink around here? What are the foods? What are the eats? What's it like to go to Michigan State, be a part of Sparty, Missouri, Texas, LSU? Next day, nothing but tailgates. Covered it nonstop, head to toe. So if you watch an episode, Ian, RJ, you'll know okay, when I go to an Alabama game, this is what I say. This is what I wear. This is where I party Friday night. This is the people to meet at the tailgate. Or if you go to Ole Miss, this is what you got to wear at the Grove. This is what time you have to stake your spot out Friday morning to make sure no open flames, that you bring in your catered meal. Hotty toddy gosh almighty, who the hell are we? Hey, all the fun stuff. I learned all the chants, the cheers. And that's why I mentioned earlier, we need, it would be so great if college sports could improve, because if you go to Death Valley, LSU, Kyle Field at Texas A&M, any given game day between the cap in the stadium, which is usually 90 to 100,000, then everyone in the surrounding parking lots and people at the bars, there's usually 230 to 260,000 people within a 1 mile radius of these stadiums on game day.
Christ.
We have no idea what
I
it's
don't even know
like.
if we have that many people in Rhode Island.
We went to,
It's no, seriously.
Yeah.
It's like Knoxville. Knoxville is as
100%.
populous as Rhode Island on a University
Yeah.
of Tennessee volunteer game day.
well,
That's
we went
insane.
for his bachelor party, we went to Texas and we went to go see at the
Longhorns.
University of Texas.
Did you do Red River Rivalry?
No. Well, that's what we were joking because we went to go see them play University of Texas San Antonio, and the game was over by
It was a wash by the first end of the
Yeah,
first quarter.
Quinn
right?
Ewers got hurt. Archie was in. That was the best part, but it was a wash. But I was like,
It was fucking exhausting. It was so hot.
I
We
could
walked uphill
only
both ways.
imagine what it would be like on a more serious game, whether it was a ranked opponent, a rivalry game. Oh my god,
Must be insane.
Like Michigan, Ohio State.
Oh my
I can't
it's-
imagine.
It's life.
Cannot imagine.
It's literally, it's just something so different. The closest we had it, I would say probably in our Brady loving Pats centered football days, was Brady Manning.
Yep.
Yes, 100%.
It'll
It's
never
like
be
Brady
better than
Manning.
that. It'll never be that was the first game.
Never
you
got a
circled.
Manning game in there. Never
No.
went. Never got a Manning game.
I got a couple. I got the one in 2014 when they stomped them and Gronk made that crazy 1 hour
my
catch.
God.
And
Second best catch.
and I was top 5 catch, yeah, totally. And then
What a
I was
great-
at 2007 at the RCA Dome when they were trying to keep the perfect season alive. I was at that
okay.
one.
Oh, that's awesome.
Boy, and then we made a Fitzy video on the way in. We called it the March to Super Bowl 41 and a half. And it was just me filming my walk into the stadium. Nastiest ass fans in the world.
Yeah.
Colts
Really?
fans. The worst. Like they
Football's
make
deflated. My man, it was 43-6, right? Like
Yeah.
it had nothing to do with the football,
They
man.
make
Y'all
Eagles
just suck.
fans look like
and that's why
saints.
Andrew Luck retired right the fuck after.
Jonas Gray, 240.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Sorry.
What a Sunday night that was.
Right?
Not,
What
super
a
nice
one
guy
game he
too.
had.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Let's
guy.
do some more New England kid.
Yes. Okay. So the other thing I was going to ask you, big movie buff, best Boston-based, Boston-influenced, New England-influenced movie.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Because I'm sure everyone always just says like the town, right?
Actually, Good Will Hunting has been the most popular.
Goodwill Hunting.
That one and the baseball one
Departed?
with Jimmy Fallon.
Oh yeah,
Fever
we've
Pitch?
had a few.
Few of those.
Okay, Fever Pitch should. So what they should do is they should grab Fever Pitch's hand. They should walk it either straight into the ocean and then knock it out over the head, kick it, and then wrap it in tape, and then cover it in rocks and make sure it never comes back. They should bring Fever Pitch with Jimmy Fallon to a rocket that's been built part by Bezos, part by Elon Musk, and if it explodes explodes on launch, nobody cares. And fire it directly into the sun so that it can never dip every copy of the old film in acid. I don't ever want to see, hear about, or have anything to do with that movie again.
He's a New England guy, but he's actually a Yankees fan, and then he made a Boston-based movie.
You couldn't have hired anyone else than Jimmy. And I love Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
I've interviewed him.
Yeah.
One of my good comedy buddies is his opening comedian that warms up the Fallon show every night and has been doing it for 16 years. Greatest gig in the world.
Oh, that's sick.
That's so
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah.
And he's brought me to the show and I've met him and he's the nicest guy in the world and so much fun. But just like him and Drew Barrymore doing that, the book by Nick Hornby about soccer fandom, incredible. I want to see it remade. Now we don't have the same angst, obviously, of back when the Sox hadn't won one yet and they weren't good.
Right.
So it would never quite be the same. But I remember watching that and people thinking like, and this is what people think about New England?
Yeah.
We should riot.
Yeah.
Good Will Hunting's great. I love Cider House Rules. That's a good one too.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't feel like, I'm not really sure there is in my head, in my heart, the definitive New England movie. I don't even know.
Departed in the Town don't do it for you?
Departed's pretty great.
Yeah.
That might be my favorite. I mean, that's an incredible
is.
movie. Have you ever seen the original?
I have not, no.
Infernal Affairs? So it's almost shot for shot.
Oh shit! Okay, I didn't know that.
It's
News to me.
it's either Korean or Japanese, and it's the whole entire same thing. Like a disgraced cop coming back trying to help out, and the other kid who's on the inside working for a gangster. Awesome. Yeah, I think.
shit. Okay, cool.
I think
Okay.
that one. I love. The accents weren't perfect all around. Baldwin's was bad. Martin Sheen's was pretty good. DiCaprio was awesome. Matt Damon nailed it. You know, he's the best at
Love
that
Matt
stuff.
Damon.
Yeah, I do too. I'm so
Love Matt Damon.
freaking. Speaking of dorking out for movies, are you guys as fired up as I am for Christopher Nolan's Odyssey?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
100%.
Anything Christopher Nolan touches,
Yeah.
I'm in.
I recently just finally saw Interstellar, and the reason why it took
My
me
favorite movie
So good.
of all time. That is the best movie ever made.
I put it off. My favorite Nolan is Batman Begins. I love it.
Also amazing.
It's the best
So
comic book
underrated
origin
one, I
story. So
So
good.
good.
No, I said it's underrated.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It is. It's.
I think it's like the best
super-
one in the series. Like
That
one of
me
the-
too.
100%,
It's a great origin story. They take the time to explain the technology and how and why Batman could exist. And here, the Batmobile was like a tank that was a mod that was like one of that whole scene with Lucius Fox. Everything about, but like, why do we fall down, Bruce? To learn how to pick ourselves up, and the sadness of like the way the parents pass and where his fears come from, and using fear to create theater to overcome it, but also intimidate your enemy. Like everything about that
Shout
movie.
out Cillian Murphy too. He was great.
Oh
in
man,
that, too.
love Killing.
Oh, his Sandman, right?
Was
Yes.
it, Scarecrow.
Scarecrow, sorry.
yeah.
His Scarecrow was so good. He auditioned to play the part.
Right.
Yeah, you're
And they
like,
put him
you're
in.
bearded Cillian Murphy. That's
See?
wow. That's your
Don't
thing.
mess with me right
I
now.
know. Fitzy. Fitzy.
Calm down.
Down, boy.
Down, boy. Stay down.
And this has
just
been
made love
6 to
to him.
midnight with Fitzy and Ian. Let's get a watch sponsor on that or something.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah. Oh,
So
no,
good.
That movie's the best. But anyway, I didn't see Interstellar for the longest time because I knew it was going to just absolutely wreck me when I saw it, because the whole entire idea of like having to make a sacrifice for the greater good of humanity, but sacrificing the opportunity to like live with your kids. Like he could have stayed home and then there would have been no alternate Earth for them or any hope for humanity. But him doing that and then missing out on his kids, I couldn't. And then I finally did recently, and it hit me like a freight train. But what a movie!
That's unbelievable.
Damn.
It's the best movie ever. It's my favorite movie ever. Theory.
Yeah.
We can talk about the theory off so we don't go
Okay.
too much of a tangent, but there's a great theory about that I would like to present to you.
What's your favorite New England food?
That's what I was going to ask you. That's our next question. That's actually
it is?
perfect.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Yeah. So, favorite New England food for me, I'm probably going clam chowder 1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do hot lobster roll 2, and then I'm going to do a stuffy 3. That's my top
stuffy?
3. Yeah, which is more Rhode Island.
Yeah,
you
is
know?
that a stuffed clam? Is that a quahog?
Yeah,
Is
yep,
that-
it's
okay.
stuffed clam. You take it out, you put in breading, sauce up a little bit, then you stuff it back
whole
in.
bunch of goodies.
Nice.
It's
I
fantastic.
love a good. There's a little place by where we have our little Sea Shack in Dennisport that makes the best freaking stuffed. God, this is what happens when you're 50. The easiest words just stuffed scallops. Oh my God.
Ooh,
huge
okay.
shell, beautiful bread, like everything. I love that so much. They're the best. I love oysters. I eat them raw, eat them any different way as well. I would probably have to say New England style clam chowder 1, fried clams 2.
Yep.
We can't claim the chicken parm sub, but I don't think anyone does a chicken parm or a steak and cheese better than you get it up here in New England. Call it a sub, call it a hero, call it a hoagie, call it a grinder. I don't care what you call it. Just call in the order and get it back here in time for kickoff.
Amen to that.
I'd probably say South Shore bar pizza next.
Ooh.
Maybe the best. If you get a good bar pizza done right and like there's absolutely no flop and you get it laced and crispy and burnt, it's just, there's no hangover that it can't stand up to. There's no appetite that it won't please. Nothing. Like it is just, it's universal. And every time someone has one, they could be a fan of deep dish, which is quiche. They could be like New York, they could like New York pizza. They could like this or that. Give them a perfectly made bar pizza from anywhere from Brockton to Fall River. And they're just going to be like, holy, this is a game changer.
Yeah.
And then I'll go tips.
All right.
Steak tips.
Yeah.
Just
so it's Dom steak tips. Phenomenal.
Awesome.
Phenomenal.
I love, and that's another one of those things. I love introducing people like, you freaking New England people. I got to tell you, you're so weird. You know, your bowling pins aren't the same. You got to, this is different. You got a different word for everything. For all I know, you got to pay in Massachusetts money when you come up here. You got your own currency, your own language, whatever.
We should be our own country. We really should.
We should. But also let's remind everybody, we started the mess and we'll finish it. Remember when your dad would be like, I brought you in, I'll take you out of here. Yeah, I'll fucking take you out of here. Like we started the fire, we'll finish it if you want, MFers. But like like people are like, what's a steak tip? Where on the cow is the tip? I'm like, well, don't go looking because it's not there. But it's just like sirloin, like you guys do in California. They do tri-tip, like they love beef ribs in Texas, like different parts of the country. But like steak tips, they're just, when they're medium rare, they've marinated for 24 hours.
Nothing like them.
And you're on the back deck or I'm at my place in the Cape. I got the Sox on the radio. The kids are playing, crack a fresh beer, tips on the grill. Like that is, if the lights went out right after that, if that was my last memory, damn, I'd go out like a champ.
That right there is so New England.
That's so New England.
Honorable mention, by the way, for the food for Fluffinutta. Fitzy, where can everybody find you? When should they tune in to WEEI?
Fluffinutta's kid. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot. Grilled corn muffin.
Ooh. Good. Blueberry too.
Yeah.
Blueberry corn muffin.
Or like a coffee cake muffin, split it down the middle, slap a little Irish butter on there.
Yeah,
flat top
only.
it for a few.
I'm fucking starving.
Yeah.
We got to go get food after this, boys.
All right, so the socials at FitzyGFY on TikTok, Instagram, the Facebook, all that stuff. WEEI Afternoons, 2 to 6 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday on 93.7, 103.7 down here in Rhode Island, all of our fabulous affiliates. And, occasionally on Patriots home games, on the Jumbotron, in the stands, hosting shows, and in the heart of Pat's Nation or wherever good football talk and beer can be found.
The GOAT of New England. One last thing, because I have to ask. Are we on the Drake May wagon? Are you in on it? Do you love it?
100%.
Possible future? I don't like to get ahead of ourselves because Mac Jones had a great first season year too, but
he was a head case. The problem was Mac was perfect for what Alabama needed that year, and we all got drunk on the need for a replacement of Tom Brady. So anytime there was a chance where somebody wasn't Cam Newton, as much as I will defend Cam Newton for being willing in COVID to try to come in and be the guy that replaces the GOAT,
right?
Tough job, and it didn't. And there was not enough talent on that team to even get to an 8-8 record. But I still loved him.
Yeah.
Next year, Mac Jones, we thought it was it. I think we all just looked past his inefficiencies and issues because we were so excited, and they bought themselves a team that year with that crazy free agency. He was a head case. Belichick was a mess. There was infighting. And as we saw, the decay of the empire, if you will. On the rebuild now, yes. Am I a believer in Drake May? 100%. Rocket arm, great personality, very affable, doesn't take things too seriously, has the Josh Allen prototype. There's a reason why he's comped to him because he's tall, can sling it, runs so well. But I'm one of these guys, like, during the whole Brady Belichick years, it was like, who's more responsible for the dynasty? Are you a Brady guy or a Belichick guy? The answer, the unsexy one, which isn't great for talk radio, is it was both of them.
Yeah,
it was always.
You can't have one without the other.
I'll say it was. You can't have one without the other. Exactly.
Right. Brady says that all the time himself. Like their bromance past all of this has kind of told you that it's like you have two best friends who are trying to fight and someone mitigating. That seems like that's what was going on. You have two guys trying to communicate, and there's someone in the middle preventing straight communication.
Right.
But
Robert Kraft's truly his greatest accomplishment was obviously buying the Patriots, keeping them in Foxborough and making them a New England staple and whatever else, but was keeping these two incredible egos, these two dynamic minds, these two MFers, these two people that would just like cut your Achilles if it would get them an extra 5 yards and a first down.
Right.
They're psycho killers. And they formed the most brilliant coach, quarterback, or coach and star athlete alliance ever.
Right.
They will never see anything, like we said, we'll never see Brady Manning again. You will never see anything as awesome, as combustible, as efficient, as brilliant and successful as Brady Belichick. And I'd say it's 55-45, 60-40, whatever, because Brady still had to execute Belichick's plans.
The talent, the credit usually always has to go to the players. There's one who does do it, but.
But to your question, is Drake May legit? Yes. Should there be a reason you buy the jerseys or take your Mac Jones or your Garoppolo and tape May over the back of it if you're trying to save a buck? Because we've both seen him at the stadium in practice. It's legit. But I'm more excited about what Mike Vrabel is doing to the Patriots.
Thank you.
Yes.
He is making us a football team again. They're going to hit hard. Like you've seen, like they've parted ways with a lot of really good players
Juwan
recently.
just got dropped yesterday.
I know. Juwan Bentley, Dietrich, who's the nicest guy in the world. John Jones. Thank you so much. We need to get younger. We need to get stronger, and we need to get faster. And we're going to play a kind of football. This has been my want and my wish, to make my kids love football, to get people that have the casuals. If you want to be a pink hat or a casual and just get off the fan wagon, that's fine. We don't need you. The dead weight only slows us down on our way to our next Lombardi.
That's right.
But Mike Vrabel is going to make the Patriots, like you want to talk about, make Foxborough great again. Mike Vrabel is going to make Foxborough great again. Right now, until Drake May takes over as the star, he is the face of the Patriots. He's not afraid.
Nope.
He wakes up in the morning and he's like, oh, wait a second. It's Tuesday. I forgot. I don't give any fucks. Let's go.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And I love that, like Mac Jones, I felt like that first year was him. That is his ceiling. That is his talent. It doesn't get better than that. And then once the league learns you, if you can't get better, then you're screwed. Yeah. Drake, there is a lot of growth potential, in my opinion. So.
And I sneaky love the Steph Diggs signing.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think people are underestimating.
Yeah.
They're underestimating the age and all that other shit. Even if that guy is able to get Bourne open or Booty open, I'm big on the Booty fan. I'm cool on Booty. I like it.
Yeah, he's good. And I want Javon Baker to work out.
Yes.
Because there's a hole in my heart when they traded out of the spot where they could have taken Lad McConkey because he was just too perfect. You know what it is? I sometimes say to myself before bed, he was just too beautiful for you. You couldn't have him. But like, I think Diggs can teach them all. That's the big thing I was saying on the radio this week. Like, what about, he's going to be a problem on the sidelines. He's a culture cancer. What he's going to do is go into the receiver room. He had a nice press conference, smooth,
beautiful
sexy,
press conference,
great,
tucked in shirt,
zest, like awesome. Yeah,
that whole video was
a buddy of mine said he looked like Eddie Murphy and Bowfinger. deep cut, but he's super nerdy.
So
but came in super nice, and then he's just the kind of guy that would then in turn go into the wide receiver room, and they're all gonna be like, "Hey, what's up, Steph?" And he'd be like, "Listen, shut up." 2, if any of you guys who all underperformed and think you deserve a spot here, Coach Vrabel's talked about taking out entitlement. If any of you guys think you deserve a target, if any of you guys want a touchdown, you want to catch anything, cool, you're gonna have to go through me. Because I'm number one, I'm an alpha, I've had 6,000 yard seasons, I've been to a bunch of AFC championships, I'm a badass. So prove to Josh, prove to Drake, prove to Vrabel, you deserve a target and not me. And I think it's going to either make them all rise up and elevate their game or get out.
Yeah.
You know whose press conference, and I think you might have posted it, but I saw it previously before that, Moses.
Oh.
That had me...
Put the Kool-Aid brick wall down so I can run through it.
Ready.
Not only was I ready for football, but how he spoke and what he said from a leadership perspective just was like, fuck yeah. That's the guy Vrabel wants. And that's the guy, like you just said about Diggs, he's going to do the same thing for the offensive line. And he's going to go in there and say, hey, we fucking sucked. Let's go.
And it's no coincidence that his last name is Moses, because he was speaking like he was parting the Dead Sea of shitty football from the last couple of years, and we're going to lead us to a new promised land.
Christ.
I can't wait. You know what's so New England? Waking up every day going, tomorrow I hope I'm more insufferable than I was yesterday.
Fitzy, this has been amazing. You guys check out Fitzy on all of his socials. Be sure to tune into WEEI. Thank you so much for coming down. We appreciate you. That is going to conclude episode 37 of the So New England podcast. Remember, folks, life's better in New England.